My best friend passed when I was 15 and he was 15. Every time a young artist, passes away, Juice WRLD in this case, being only, what was he, 20 or 21? He didn't even make it that far, I don't remember. It hits home every time one of these younger rappers, passes away because it reminds me of my friend. It does. It's like a brother to me. So it's like any little speck of the youth in the rap game, I see little specks of him kind of living out potential parts of his dream. So I'm always happy when younger artists get their chance to shine and they get their opportunity to kind of make it in the limelight, because I feel like this is kind of, in my kind of demented way of thinking, him living out his dream through other people, at least through the way I want to see it. But yeah, seeing Juice WRLD pass hurt, because that was just so unnecessary. It felt so preventable. And in a way, it feels so shit being reminded of my friend in that way, because I feel like he would have loved to just be a Juice WRLD. I think about it again, I'm like, he would have aspired to be another nigga with problems. I really just want to kind of hop into it because I don't want to waste too much time rambling, getting sad. I would like to remember Juice WRLD in his brightest moments, and the moments where I think he was, his happiest to some degree. So yeah, Juice WRLD with Legends Never Die. I'm excited. And let's listen to it. All right, we got Anxiety for track number 1.
You got substance abuse, you got, there's a lot of issues in the world to talk about. Love myself so much.
Everything that he says, I like I said, you can't disagree with it. It just sucks again when you hear someone speaking this coherently and sounding this rational to still fall victim to something like this. Like how much of a hold it must have had on him. Conversations at track number 2.
Oh God, Ronnie.
Oh my God.
Chilling in my head, but it's hot. Flames everywhere, I see Satan.
What I've always wanted Juice WRLD to just capitalize in and just hone in on is just his voice. That's really all I've really ever cared about. I can tolerate the rapping too every now and again, but just the harmonies, man. The way this dude's voice kind of just can encapsulate a room. How much, I won't say range, but just how far his voice can go.
There
we go. Yeah, I don't know who he's having the conversation with. This sounds like one of those, video game type instrumentals where you're sitting in there very isolated from everything else. I could picture a music video for this being him on like a stage battling himself. I like what Ronnie J did with that beat. It tells a story on its own. And again, Juice WRLD vocally, I just think he captures so much. Track number 3 is Titanic.
Good heart, good soul, both been in bad hands like a deal damage. Real me sinning and wildin'. Don't know what to do with myself these days.
This album is really prophetic so far. His little foreshadowings that he's throwing into the album here, where he's talking about, I think God's getting tired of me sinning. Even the track before that where he talks about taking medication and knowing that it's giving him a high, but it's killing him. It's so eerie listening to it. Like you're taking these substances because you want to sedate these negative feelings anymore. It's almost like you're taking them as a way to cope through what you know is going to be your untimely demise. Like that this thing is going to happen and you're not necessarily trying to fight it anymore. I think that's the most dangerous part about this, when you get a competent, rational individual that's no longer fighting. That's the shaky, scary part.
I did how fucked up I am.
The guitar in the background, I like that little addition. There was a point vocally where it sounds like he's going through like an electronic wormhole. Not really loving that part, but everything else about this track, again, is very prophetic. It's almost like he's accepted what's happening and he's not trying to fight back anymore. He's just waiting for the worst to happen. And if this doesn't sedate me permanently, maybe death will. Next track we've got is Bad Energy.
Follow all these pills with my pride.
Ooh.
You may kiss the bride.
Trouble in my brain, you can see it in my eyes. He said I'm married to these meds or whatever. You can kiss the bride. Letting everyone out there know, if you are going through something, do not give up, okay? And I don't want to say it to sound cheesy. It's just a thing. You have to keep fighting. You cannot fall into this pattern of being sedated or allowing yourself, if you can help it, being medicated to this degree, self-medicating to this degree. Do not give up. You have got to keep trying. If you get to a point where you just don't want to fight anymore, then this is the point. This is where I'm not saying this is where you end up, but this is the next possibility. Because once you stop fighting, then you start waiting. And once you start waiting, death is around the corner.
Fighting on the pain, all the drugs I've been buying. This oxy getting pricey. Put codeine in the high seat. Blood red bleeding in the high.
These tracks feel so secluded and isolated. The guitar is giving me like this cloud floating feeling, and I know it probably doesn't make sense. I can't actually tell you why it gives me that feeling, but that's just where I'm at with it. Probably because the album cover art is in my mind, so along this entire road here, I feel like he's levitating above everything else right now. I've already heard track number 5, Righteous. We're gonna go to track number 6, which is Blood on My Jeans.
My relationship is forever, but I've been cheating on the drugs. I just for my fuckery. Baby, I've been on the run.
Even the track, like, I'm not even a fan of this track. Like, I don't like this track like that, but it still fits this I saw it coming narrative from him, not from me. It's like, I know what's coming my way. And even the moments where it seems as if he's expressing his love to the girlfriend that he's got in this song, saying that I'll never leave you. I think my enemies, my haters want to kill me or murder me. Like, it's like, you, again, don't take it the wrong way. I'm just very blunt in sometimes the way I like to say things, but you are your worst enemy. You describe yourself as your biggest devil on this track. And then it's like you say, my haters want to kill me. Even when you're at your highest, again, on a couple tracks ago, you said you feel your lowest. Or even when you're winning, you said you feel like you're losing. You know, only the person that you look at every morning can make you feel that. This track felt like Nobody Can Take Me From You But Me. Track number 7 is Tell Me You Love Me featuring Trippie Redd. I love Trippie Redd. I hope this is going to be a good track. I already like the guitar. You can't ruin this, right? Yeah, this is it. I like Trippie's hook here and Juice WRLD's rapping bit on this track. I also really like the guitar playing throughout the track. I thought that was a nice little addition. Really adds to the emo feel that they've been trying to capture, Trippie and Juice WRLD, for a majority of their careers. So the guitar has a lot of color to it. Track number 8 is Hate the Other Side featuring Polo G. There's a lot of guitar on this album. All right, thanks for interrupting me, man. I don't talk about the glizzies. I like the kid LAROI. I think I said his name right. I probably said it terribly, and y'all can flame me if you want to. But yeah, I like that track a lot. The hook from Juice WRLD was really solid. The verse from Polo G was great. Kid LAROI had a lot of energy and was kind of theatric with his delivery too. I really like that. The guitar was a nice little underlay for the track. I thought it was great. Oh, we got the Get Through It interlude at number 9. More guitars and violins. That doesn't sound like a violin. That sounds a little heavier. Yeah, man, you could have really took that track somewhere. It's like he knows that for some people this is going to be an emotional listen, and just getting through it could be a task, just getting through the rest of the album. Track number 10 is Halsey with Juice WRLD, Life's a Mess. I've also already heard this track. I really like Halsey's vocals here, and Juice WRLD sounds really nice on this track as well. Not really a problem with it. Come and Go with Marshmello, I've also heard. I didn't really like this track much at all. Felt like the beat, he was drowning so much in it without really having much presence, like, at all. This is definitely a track that I think could have been, you know, taken off the album. Track number 12 is I Want It. I'm getting slight Sway Lee vocal inflections here. I feel like he's flying high. His voice, as far as the effects and everything here, I like how youthful it sounds, how somewhat heavenly and otherworldly it sounds in comparison to the other tracks. This is almost whispered, his delivery, so it's not too harsh. It's really soft, and despite some of the subject matter in this track, it seems like a pretty delicate listen. I I do think the instrumental here is just a little bit too much, but I think he has a decent presence on this track. So I don't dislike it, but it's not my favorite out of everything I've heard so far. Track number 13 is Fighting Demons.
Money give me an erection, but that don't mean it's gonna be everlasting. Yeah, I know it's a blessing. How come it always feel like the devil plot? It is hard to handle. Demons in my heart, yeah, destroy me like a vandal. Don't give up.
That track hurts a little bit, man, because it's almost like, all right, you know, maybe I haven't given up, but it still took me. Maybe I tried and it was just too strong. The urge or how I feel or the pain. Can't speak for him. I just know listening to him, it's like you are too aware of this for this to have happened to you. And then knowing that it still happened, like how strong of a hold. And also some of these tracks feeling so secluded because at the same time, it's like, where do I go to for help? Who's going to know how to aid me? People don't really recognize the problem till I die. Track number 14 is Wishing Well.
Still try even though I know I'm gon' fail. Stress on my shoulders like an drugs killing me softly, Lord hell.
I have a problem. I don't know. It's just weird because this album so far for me is reiterating points. You know, so many of these tracks drive home the same narrative, the same idea, to the point where some of them probably are interchangeable in some of the ideas, or it will force you to choose between your favorite tracks that reinforce the same idea. It will force you to take other tracks away that drive home similar sentiments. To me, this whole album just feels like knowing what you have to do but waiting for your body to catch up. And it's like that's the feeling of trying and then feeling like you're gonna fail anyway. That separation between what you know is best for you versus what you're actually doing is deadly. Track number 15 is Screw Juice.
Long fight, still no truth, yeah. And a long night, sipping on chopping screw juice. Every day my heart racing for no reason. What have I come to?
Jesus Christ, you having anxiety attacks? He's encouraging people and giving his listeners motivation and saying that you can do it if someone like me could do it. And then at the same time acknowledging anxiety attack with no solution, just casually throwing it in the record. I do miss the drums, so I like that the drums were added to this track. I think a lot of the tracks here do rely a lot on kind of that acoustic signature almost. A lot of it kind of, you know, piano or guitar. So I was happy to see it return. I like the melody, the flow here, specifically for Juice WRLD. It's just getting rough. Track number 16 is Up, Up, and Away. It's like watching someone go to the light and you cannot stop them. That's what this album feels like. I'm watching someone walk toward a doom, a dead end, a horrible fate, and he's looking back. It's like he's walking backwards and waving and smiling at you the whole time while you're yelling at him to stop. And it's already too late. It's already too late. That's what this album feels like. Watching someone walk off a cliff and there's this huge glass barrier preventing you from telling them to stop. Man, the myth, the legend.
Like his potential was so off the charts.
I heard Young Thug, I heard J. Cole, I heard Eminem. Just all the people that were acknowledging Juice WRLD, you know, I think that's cool. I think that's dope too. It speaks to his impact. Thug might be tripping with the Wayne comparison there, but again, we gonna let it slide. Track number 18 is Stay High.
Run through the 6, no walls. No money, no hands, no balls.
Gotta stay high to avoid my lows. I understand. But again, here with this track, I feel like it's echoing the same sentiments that we've heard throughout the entire album, to a point where I feel like lyrics don't really hit or resonate as deeply because other songs have tackled this with a little bit more consideration and a little bit more depth. So that's just where I'm at with a couple of these tracks already. Track number 19 is Cant Die. Man.
I can't die because I never was alive.
Oh my God, man. You are one of them. I like some of these songs, like Cant Die specifically, because it talks about almost the people's thoughts and reactions to when Juice WRLD passed away. I remember when I first heard that, I forgot who, I think my sister told me, you know, Juice WRLD passed away. And I was like, wait, huh? That don't even sound right, because it seems so random. It seems so out of place. Like the dude seemed to be doing well. And I remember hearing about it. I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is it another one? You know what I mean? I had to confirm so many different times that it was true or not, you know? Because I was hoping it wasn't. He's so young. And for him to kind of make a song like this and then be that thing that he was talking about, it hits. Track number 20 is Man of the Year. All right, I'll join. Take my energy. Thing he's got going on here, like indie rock aesthetic here. Not the biggest fan of it. I like that it's kind of like anthem driven though. It's a message that you can easily get behind. And the final track here is Juice WRLD Speaks from the Heavens.
I love y'all to death. How couldn't I ask for better fans and supporters?
So that was Juice WRLD's final album, or won't probably not final, but posthumous release, Legends Never Die. This isn't going to be a long afterthoughts, because I feel like I felt halfway through this record that if you needed more beyond a certain point in this album, you probably weren't listening well. Because I think the main points in this album were kind of touched on early on, and they were reiterated to a point where it was almost spooky or creepy that he described in such detail how even his fans probably felt about seeing him in the news, crowd reaction to his demise, the people that he was closest to, even as far as relationships are concerned. It seemed like he had an awareness of how it affected them, but didn't necessarily know how to go about stopping their reaction or stopping them from experiencing or seeing him in this state of mind, seeing him in this mode where he's not necessarily at his best. Maybe he's not at his most coherent. Even before that, there are moments where he acknowledges and he's aware of his depression, his anxiety. He's aware of his sadness and his pain, and doesn't necessarily know how to cope with it, as most of us don't know exactly how to deal with everything that's traumatizing or painful. But seeing the way he deals with it and copes with it on this album is so frustrating, because you think this is the thing that took someone who had so much talent. This thing, you know, something that affects us all on uneven scales. Sometimes it can affect us in such different ways. I just feel so frustrated listening to it again because of the access that he should have had to mental health groups and mental health organizations that could have diagnosed him with something, or maybe helped him in a better way than him finding other ways or means to self-medicate. I just think listening to this, the more and more you listen to it, the more and more you're just wondering and asking yourself why. He has a line on this album somewhere where he says, if it wasn't for the pills, and it really resonated with me. It almost made me just completely bawl out. He said, if it wasn't for the pills, I wouldn't be here. But if it's for the pills or something like that, they're going to kill me. They're going to take me. The same thing that you feel like is giving you comfort and keeping you sustainable is the same thing you feel like is going to eventually kill you. Musically here, there are moments where I feel like he emulates some other emo artists. At the same time, I feel like there are moments on this album where he kind of takes a bit vocally from Sway Lee, which I do think is to the album's benefit sometime. It can make for a bit of a softer tone from Juice WRLD. I would have liked for there to be a little bit more rapping on this album. I also would have liked for there to be a bit more of a, more fun energy here. Because, again, a lot of these tracks reiterate the same point in the sense that he knew that what he was doing was wrong and just couldn't figure out a way out of it. And it was just like a constant loop, a constant cycle of, I know this is wrong, but I need it, but it's eventually going to kill me. But I don't know any other way to deal with my stress or my anger, my anxiety, my feelings, my pain. So I get it. But at the same time, I wish this album would have been accompanied with something a bit more than just that material, something a bit more fun, a little bit more lighthearted. I think sometimes instrumentally the album does so much to put Juice WRLD in this like secluded musical space that you kind of have no other choice but to think about him in the worst ways sometimes. Clearly he's extremely talented. I just wish it was accompanied with something that put him in a different atmosphere, that put him in a different light, and held him in that light for a little bit longer. But yeah, I don't really know how to feel about this album. I don't. I'm mixed on it. And that's pretty much it, you know. Y'all let me know how you felt about it in the comment section down below. And I'll see y'all, you know, in the next one. R.I.P. Juice WRLD, Fly High Young King, and we're out. Peace.